Hi everyone, welcome to the latest album review from my CD collection, which is Freedom Lasso by Akala. Check the timestamps if you want to jump straight into the review. I won't be offended in the slightest. So far, I reviewed and ranked Adele, Addicts, AFI, Afro Cluster and Christina Aguilera. Alphabetically, there were no albums released by artists between Christina Aguilera and Akala worth owning. I like lots of different styles, but there is no way I will ever own an Aha record, unless it's just 45 minutes of every time Steve Coogan yelled it out as Alan Partridge. Akala is a socially conscious rapper from London in the same vein as of Loki and Kano, as well as Immortal Technique from across the pond. He first appeared on my radar around 2016 when a friend of mine sent me a link to his first Fire in the Booth appearance. I was that bowled over by his flow, his intelligence and his knack to really make me think. I went straight into his 3 successive Fire in the Booth appearances and he became my favourite rapper in the process. Akala schooled me on everything from the evolution of racial injustice to the politics of Chinese leaders in the 1500s and everything else in between. I've not listened to these Fire in the Booth sessions for a long time, so I decided to put one on, and as I write this, the hairs on my arm are standing up with goosebumps. For those of you who don't know what Fire in the Booth is, it's a platform on BBC Radio 1 Extra in which they promote UK rappers to perform on British airwaves, as annoying host Charlie Sloth puts them off with glass-smashing sound effects and the word PERFECT from Street Fighter 2 thrown in every 2 seconds. I have seen a lot of these Fire in the Booth sessions, and for me, Akala is the go to this format by a long way. Often rappers will call out other performers in the same space to start beef and interest, but no one is brave enough to call out Akala because they know they will get annihilated. He is the best on the microphone and without doubt the most well-read, intelligent rapper in the UK, if not the planet. That's a big claim. He has the novels and the school workshops and Oxford lectures as evidence to back this up. I saw Akala in Leeds in 2017 and was blown away with his live show. I was too shy to go and talk to him after the gig, but I did go and buy a copy of the album Freedom Lasso. Is it Freedom Lasso or Freedom Lasso? I'm going to call it Freedom Lasso. Another fun fact about Akala is that his sister had one of the biggest one-hit wonders in UK chart history with I'm Miss Dynamite by Miss Dynamite. I just thought that was worth mentioning. Freedom Lasso was released on the 1st of October 2007 on Illustrate Records, making me 16 years late to the party. The album featured 2 executive producers, Anthony Dormant and Naomi McLean Daly, aka Akala's sister, aka Miss Dynamite. You get the idea. Reza Safina is also credited as producer. This was Akala's second full-length album, which also saw 8 singles released prior to this record. Musically, Freedom Lasso has an EDM vibe throughout, feeling as though the instrumentation is very much a keyboard synth-led album with the occasional indie rock lineup of guitars, bass and drums. The samples and instrumentation on hip-hop albums tends to be a lot more ambitious. The lack of jazz, funk, soul, R&B, horns and 90s influenced piano-led hip-hop is really noticeable, and it's not very adventurous. There isn't a single horn to be heard throughout the whole record, and to me that is a travesty. This album feels like it's been released by a band, not a solo artist. Akala declares himself a rap rock kid on the album's opener, Electro Living, a well-worded critique of the materialistic world we are currently living in with a prodigy-like feel in the music. I feel as though that this was a phase Akala grew out of in his later days, for the best, so he became more adventurous with the beats he was rapping over. The album progresses with a Susie Sue wail, as her Banshee's original late 70s punk number Love Is a Void is sampled. Akala spits lyrical love bars over a 4-chord aggressive descending progression, lyrically uncharacteristic of more recent political wordplay. Love in My Eyes is a solid song and the sample work. I just feel that Akala is a victim of his future success, and I can't help compare different eras of Akala. When you set the bar that high in the BBC Radio 1 Extra studio, it is noticeable that 2007 Akala I am listening to on Freedom Lasso is yet to reach his Fire in the Booth peak. Comedy, tragedy, history and Where I'm From are the 2 highlights of the album. Former is a violin-heavy tribute to Shakespeare, in which Akala name-drops as many of Will's plays as he can for the duration of the song successfully, without it sounding overly contrived and forced. The latter sees Akala getting a load off his chest with the jangly Stone Roses Smith's Manchester-influenced backbeat. A well-told tale about growing up in poverty and dismissing fake gangsters, giving us some home truths about the reality of the hood, is a real eye-opener to Akala's world, echoing the words we would later read in his 2018 semi-autobiography, semi-history book Native. Mediocrity and Akala are 2 things I never thought I'd put together, but the Moby-esque You Put a Spell on Me and Something Inside My Head, as well as the middle-of-the-road I Don't Know, are pretty generic generic, inoffensive songs that passed me by. That said, one of my favourite taglines did come from You Put a Spell on Me, in which Akala declares, "We are all crazy, but we won't admit that one is just the one you're comfortable to be crazy with." He said it better than me. Bit by Bit is a fast-paced ode to finding a good balance on life with your significant other. This is Akala at his best. Metaphors flying in left, right and centre. This is one song that shows off Akala's craft, and it would have been a fantastic club hit if the mainstream had more respect for him, if he played the game and wasn't overtly political. Freedom Lasso has its moments. It's a brief historical document of Akala before he became the Akala of today. Not quite at the peak of his craft yet, and in a time where he used similar instrumentation and production for each song. His vision wasn't quite there yet, pun intended for the hardcore Akala fan. He was about 6 or 7 years off GOAT UK rapper status. I'm going to send him this review, and I'd be really interested to hear what his views are on the album retrospectively and how they compare to 2007. Akala, if you're still watching, comment down below how right or how wrong I am. 10 Years of Akala is a compilation released in 2016 of his best songs, which gives us information that Freedom Lasso was only the second year into his music career proper. It only includes 3 cuts from Freedom Lasso, one of which is a complete reworking. 3 cuts from 23 tracks. I think they're only included because it's more of an anthology rather than a best of. Many artists peak at their debut. See Arctic Monkeys, Plan B, The Ruts, Guns N' Roses. I could go on. Akala is the opposite. He keeps reading, writing and evolving, lyrically and in his delivery. He has no ceiling, but Freedom Lasso does. With all that said, I have to give Freedom Lasso a 6 out of 10. There are 4 or 5 pretty solid songs in here, but if I was making a 10 Years of Akala compilation, I don't think I'd include more than 2 songs. If the music and production was more ambitious, this album had the potential to score higher, but for now it's staying at 6 out of 10. And now to rank Freedom Lasso with the rest of the albums I have reviewed. If this was a question of who's my favourite artist so far, it would be Akala. If I only had to listen to one artist out of everyone on the list, it would be him. But album to album, I think this is in between. I don't know where to put this. Do you know what? I'm going to put it just under Christina Aguilera. That's a really hard one to take, but I think I'm going to do that. That's so close. It just feels wrong, that, though. Feels a bit wrong. No, I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to put Freedom Lasso just under Stripped by Christina Aguilera, because that had more moments on it for me. Now let's do a rundown of the chart. Number 8, we've got AFI with December Underground. Number 7, we've got The Addicts with 27. Number 6, we've got AFI again with Sing the Sorrow. New entry at number 5, we've got Akala with Freedom Lasso, probably Rob. Number 4, we've got Christina Aguilera with Stripped. Number 3, Adele, 21. Number 2, Afro Cluster with We Don Land EP. And staying at number 1, it's been there for a while now, we have AFI with the All Hallows EP. Thank you for making it this far into the video. Is Akala the greatest rapper of all time? Is he the greatest English rapper of all time? Is early Akala actually better than later Akala? Was I too harsh? Was I too soft? Do you want me to end the video sooner? Like, subscribe and comment and do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers!